Hello guys, welcome to Captain Dorja's Armory. This is Captain Dorja, and as you can see here, we are in World of Tanks. Now it's October 31st right now, so it's Halloween, and I know Halloween's not really that big of a deal in a lot of places, but whatever. They got the specialty garage in here, that's why it looks so weird. I've been telling people that this these burning skulls, those are heads of dissidents sacrificed to Stalin to give good RNG in Soviet tank. Right, so enough of that. Guys, what we're going to look at today is a really fun battle that I played, that's my phone, in the WZ-111 Model 1-4, which we're just going to call the 111, because WZ-111 Model 1-4 is way too long. Now, the 111 is the Chinese Tier 9 heavy tank, and so far it's pretty good. I'll take a quick look at the research tree right here, because I do not have this tank fully upgraded. I have the upgraded turret and the upgraded radio. I've got the upgraded tracks, I've got the second engine, and I have the second gun. So I'm not fully upgraded yet, but it's not all bad news bears with this tank in the upgrading process. At least to me, anyway. I haven't minded it at all. This tank's pretty fun to drive, and it's really good. So we're going to take a quick look at it in the garage, and then we're going to get it into battle. First thing we're going to look at is the engines. This is the top engine, and this is the engine that I currently have fitted. And the only real difference is the top engine has 20 more horsepower. So right now I've got a 580 horsepower engine. The top engine will give me 600 horsepower. I am going to research this top engine, even though the horsepower gain won't be that much, for two reasons. Reason number one, the WZ-111 is a pretty fast, heavy tank. Like an IS series tank. IS-7, one of its main strengths is its speed. Same thing with the IS-3, same thing with the IS-8. Some of their main advantages are their high top speed. So increasing the horsepower even a little bit is worth it to me. The other reason is that the WZ-120, the Tier 9 medium tank, will be using this engine as well. And I haven't bought a WZ-120 yet, but I do have it unlocked. So I'll definitely get the engine just so that I can use it in my WZ-120. Now the other thing that I don't have upgraded all the way on this tank is the gun. So that's the current gun that I have fitted, and here's the fully upgraded gun. So the gun I have fitted on the tank right now is the 100mm 62-100T. This is the gun that you use on the 110, the Chinese Tier 8 heavy. And, it's not really that bad. It's great on the 110. It's a good gun. And I'm not having problems with it on the WZ-120. This, however, is the fully upgraded gun, the 130mm 59-130T, very similar to the gun on the IS-7. Comparatively, the 130mm has quite a bit more penetration and way higher alpha damage, but it loses quite a lot of rate of fire. It's a little bit less accurate. It takes longer to aim. It also has slightly lower damage per minute, only about 150 roughly. But with the higher penetration, you're more likely to be able to pen all your shots against more opponents. So even though the damage per minute technically is lower, in more situations it'll actually deal damage more effectively. That said, though, I mostly just want to look at the 100mm and talk about strengths and weaknesses of using this 100mm gun on this Tier 9 tank. Because, like I said, it's not all bad news. The first thing that's a real strength is a 7.06 round per minute rate of fire. That's pretty freaking good. Now, with my crew's got 100% on their their tank driving ability, and I also use improved ventilation. So my reload is going to be pretty close to as good as it can get. And that gives me a reload time of 7.17 seconds, which is pretty quick. Now, with that quick reload time, another nice advantage of this gun is a quick aiming time, 2.3 seconds, and with vertical stabilizers that'll cut that down even more. So I can aim this gun very quickly, which is very nice. Also, the accuracy 0.38. I mean, it's not it's not German accuracy, but the accuracy's not real bad either. It's not like using a Russian heavy where the accuracy is commonly higher than 0.4. So as far as accuracy goes, kind of middle of the road. You sort of like an American tank. It's pretty, it's not the most accurate gun out there, but you're not just like, it's not like you're throwing darts at a dartboard or something. It's reasonably accurate. The main weaknesses of this gun are the low penetration and the relatively low alpha damage. Only 320 damage per shot with only 215 penetration. So what this means is that when you're fighting tanks that you can easily penetrate, basically if you're fighting tier 8s, you can pen them pretty easily. If you're fighting medium tanks, you can usually pen them pretty easily. There's a few exceptions, E50s, T54s, things like that, not so easy to pen. But most mediums that you face, you can penetrate easily, and tier 8s, you can penetrate easily. And if you're able to attack guys on the side, you can, you don't have a problem. If you do have a problem, you can use 265 pen premium ammo, which gives you the penetration of a tier 10, so that's nice. Now, what I do want to say about this gun in favor of it is that it could be a lot worse. What this gun is really good for is, if you're on the side or rear of an enemy, you can do a lot of damage to them very quickly because you're going to pen all your shots, basically, and you've got pretty high damage per minute. The other thing that this gun is really good for is it's really good for playing a support tank. So if you're kind of bottom tier, or whatever, or if you're in a situation where you just want to try and disrupt the enemy, this gun's really good for it because of the high rate of fire and the quick aiming time. And we'll see that in the replay. I spend a lot of time in this replay coming up taking shots at the enemy's tracks because we were fighting outnumbered against higher tier opposition, and so I was trying to do damage, but more importantly, I was trying to disrupt the enemy's ability to attack, and I was trying to disrupt their ability to poke and pull back, because we were fighting a lot of T-30s, and their ability to come out, hit for 750, only take 300 damage back. That's something that we wanted to not let happen. So with the high rate of fire and the quick aiming time, our ability to do support and detrack was really, really, really good. The other thing that I want to point out real quickly about the gun is the low alpha damage is a weakness because, you're fighting tier 9s and tier 10s, they got a lot of health, you're only doing 320 damage a hit. But there are times when that low alpha damage can actually be a strength, because if there's a target in front of the enemy that can hit them very hard in one shot, and then there's you in a WZ-120 with a 100mm gun, shooting them in the side, only doing 300 damage a shot, they're going to ignore you. And when they're ignoring you, you can shoot them repeatedly with that high rate of fire, and they're not going to turn their armor towards you because they're worried about the E100 in front, something like that. If it's you and an E100 against an IS-7, the IS-7's probably going to ignore you. He can, he's got to deal with this 750 alpha damage E100. And because he's ignoring you and your 320 alpha damage gun, you can get his flank, you can break his tracks, you can shoot him in the side where you can actually penetrate. And if you had the big gun with, the high pen and the high alpha, yeah, sure, you could pen his front if he gave you his lower plate. But you'd be a lot higher up on that guy's threat radar because you're hitting for 500 damage a shot. So it's, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The low alpha damage is a strength and a weakness. The last thing I want to hit on real quickly is the armor of this tank. 120 millimeters at the front of the hull and 80 at the sides. Now 120 millimeters is the upper plate, and the upper plate is pretty strong. It's sloped back a lot, and it's got a little bit of a pike nose. Not as sharp of a pike as the 110 or an IS, like IS-3 or IS-7, but it is still there. The lower plate is very weak. This lower plate is only 80 millimeters. Now you do have spaced armor running along the tracks right here, but it's not very tall. So most of the time shots are just going to come into your side, and the spaced armor is not really going to help you that much. But because of the lower plate on this tank is so bad, you do want to angle it about the way I have here. And if you angle like that, especially if you can keep your lower plate hidden, the armor on this tank can be very, very effective. This half of the pike nose, with the way we're angled right here, is a thickness of about 260, and that'll deflect any shot in the game. This part right here is lowered down a little bit, but it's only lowered from about 200 when you're straight on down to about 190. So it's actually, essentially, you haven't really lost any effectiveness on the worst half of the pike, and on the upper half of the pike, you've gained a lot. Also, quick note, commander's hatches are weak, and if the enemy's shooting down on you, the turret roof is garbage, so you do have to worry about that. But anyway, guys, we've been in the garage quite a bit longer than I intended, but I feel like I needed to cover all this stuff before the battle, because, you know, this is the first time that I've looked at the WZ-120, or WZ-111 rather, on my channel, and I know these Chinese tanks, even though they've been in the game now for quite a while, a lot of them are still not very well understood. So I wanted to really make sure I talked about what this tank is good for and what it's not, and like how I think when I'm playing it with this stock gun. Because I haven't had any problems with this 100mm, but I know other people in QSFNA, they've really been hating it with this gun, and you know, and I know the IS-3's gun on a tier 9 is usually considered garbage, and this is arguably worse. But I haven't had a problem. So I just really wanted to make sure I hit everything in depth so that you guys can fully understand what I'm talking about, and you know, just what my thoughts and opinions are. So guys, now it's been a while in the garage here. Let's end this theory crafting BS. Let's put this tank in action in a really, 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 really good game we had, and we'll let the results do the rest of the talking. I've talked enough. Alright guys, so we are loaded into battle in the WZ-111, and as you can see, we're on El Haluf, and it is an encounter battle. It's a tier 10 battle. The enemy team having a T-57 Heavy, an FV-215B-183, and a Jaegeru, the Jagdpanzer E-100. Our team, we have an E-100, a Batchat 25T, and our own FV-215B-183. After that, our team is composed mainly of tier 9s, with 4 tier 8s at the bottom. And the enemy team has one less tier 9, so they actually have 5 tier 8s. But I don't want to hit the XVM thing too hard, but I'm picking up from XVM here that the enemy team individual player skill a little bit higher than ours. So that's definitely something to kind of pay attention to. Their team has fewer red players. All 3 of their tier 10s are consistently playing pretty well. Our 3 tier 10s not quite statistically as effective. So in this battle, I'm thinking that I'm probably going to have to play a key role here. So what I want to do is I just want to rush over to this location as quick as I can. I see that friendly object 704 down there. Just basically that guy's just saying, "Yep, I'm not in this battle. You're playing 14 versus 15." So he's just completely thrown away one of the strongest tanks in the match because I have no idea why. So yeah. Right. Okay, so my plan right here, I actually like to push around over to where my gun is targeted, but I can see that I'm pretty much alone. I'm backed up by a pair of tier 8s, and other than that, I'm by myself. So I decide not to push. What I'm going to do is I'm going to side scrape this corner, and I'm going to play defense. Now, I would like to point out real quick where the rest of my team is, because this was really, really annoying. We've got our 183 is moving up right here, and we've got a Lerva tier 8, so, you know, we're bringing our tier 8s are coming to the forward edge of the battle. Yippee! You know, but our E100, he's back here, but, you know, the E100 is a slow tank. We'll cut him some slack. Conqueror, no. Tortoise, no. All three T-30s in useless positions. You know, like just a terror. It's a bad deployment. The mediums attacking on the other flank, that's smart, but like our team is deployed very poorly. So we take our first shot, we fire it into the T-30, we aim for his track, and we hit. And we also do damage. So the T-30 is immobilized in front of two enemy T-34s. Unfortunately, my second shot misses. So you can see us side scraping this corner here. We put one into the IS-3, managed to pen even though he's attempting to side scrape as well. And his shot actually is absorbed by our tracks. So you can tell right here we're under. They're not really attacking aggressively, but there is a heavy enemy opposition. We've got a T-30 rolling forward. I go for a D-track on him, but he actually drives forward just as I fire. So instead of D-tracking, I do a good 290 damage to him. Comboed with a T-34 shot from behind, and we just shaved off half the health of that T-30. So again, we're just side scraping our corner. I'm mainly focused on my own preservation and just doing what damage I can, and providing any fire support that I can. A huge goal that I have in mind at this point in this battle is, as often as possible, I want to D-track the enemy, especially those T-30s. Because, you know, the T-30, very dangerous tank. Very dangerous tank, the T-30, but no armor. That E-100 right there, you know, rammed into me and messed up my D-tracking on the Carnarvon, but it's not a big deal. No harm done, and the Carnarvon's dead anyway, so no big deal right there. You can see the enemy FV-215B kind of pushing down a little bit behind us, which is kind of an odd move. We take a hit from the Conqueror, but he's not upgraded, so it only does about 250. Right there, we go for the D-track on the T-30. He repair kits and pulls back. You can see our high rate of fire. We're looking for shots on these T-30s under the track of the dead Conqueror. The enemy 112 poking out. We have his side. Side armor on that tank is garbage. We put one into his side. He puts one into our track. So we do some good damage to him, and he does nothing back. With our high rate of fire, we're able to fire into the Tiger II quickly, and we're also able to reload and D-track the T-30. That was a purposeful shot aimed at nothing but D-tracking. And I'm going to try and do the same thing here, just D-track this T-30 again. I'm just trying to get these T-30s pinned in position where the guys behind me can kill them. Now, I derp a derp right there. I thought that Conqueror, for some reason, I thought it was a tank that was alive. I go for a D-tracking shot on a dead guy. Well played, sir. Well played. Right, well, the fight continues. Again, I'm just playing really defensive. Quickly pause, see what we got with us. You know, I'm playing defensive because I've got two low-health T-34s and, honestly, an awful E-100 driver backing me up. So, this T-34, he needs, well, you know, he needs to not die, basically. His mission in life right now is to do damage without being killed. And this E-100, I just want to try and trap enemies in front of his 150 millimeter gun. That's my goal. Now, our tank destroyers back there right now are actually not being entirely useless, because these enemies, they can hit these enemies. So basically these four people are doing nothing. They are doing nothing. These two guys are preventing any enemies from advancing along here and attacking us on the side. And this E50 and this Batshat are not pressing their attack at all. If you're a medium and you come down here, especially on encounter mode, you have one mission in life, and that is to attack. If you're down there and you're not attacking, you're not doing anything, you're useless. If you're camping here in encounter, you're basically useless. If you're camping here in an encounter, you're entirely useless. And if you're camping here in this encounter, and there's no enemies where this IS-3 is, you're useless. So the majority of our team is either camping in useless locations, or they've gone somewhere that's smart, but then they're doing something stupid. So let's resume the battle. Again, we're still just playing defense. We're just trying to hold our ground. If the enemy rushed us at any time during this fight, we would have lost. Now the E100 moving forward, that's not a smart move. There's 2 T-30s around that corner. There's 4 tanks right there, and that E100 was just all kinds of exposed. Now I detrack the T-30. The Death Star comes out. That was a pucker moment. He shoots me right in the front plate, deals 700 damage, and kills my driver. But, I reload and I go out and take out the T-30. So that's good. First kill. 2,758 damage done. First kill. Now at this point, I'm trying to get the friendlies on my team who are back camping in the useless location in C7. I'm trying to get them to get their freaking butts up here into the fight, but they're having none of it. That was awesome. Me and the 2 T-34s alpha that freaking 1A3 down to nothing. And the enemy T-30 comes around, and because of his long aiming time, I'm able to aim the killing shot into his commander's hatch before he's able to take aim at me. Now my team has the advantage, and it's time to press my attack. So I push in against the enemy Tiger II. I bounce off his hatch, and at this point I realize that what I need to do is I need to just drive past this Tiger II. I'll drive past him and attack him from behind and the side. That'll give the T-34s an easier time, and I'll be able to pen easier with my kind of low penetration. I do take 1 penning hit from the Tiger II, so I'm down to only 600 health, but we've secured our 3rd kill, and we're at almost 4,000 damage. Now the battle's changed entirely into our favor, and it's time for my team to start pressing our attack. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to get around the flank of this Object 704, and this just made me so angry. I'm actually going to back up a little bit here, if I can remember how. Alright, I apologize for that. Kind of glitchy little thing right there. Okay, so we're pressing around the flank right here, and it's 9 against 5. The enemy team is on the ropes. They're capping the base. We're going to lose if we don't get a reset in 38 seconds. I'm trying, if we look at the map, I'm trying to press around to about here where I can easily reset the base. But before I can do that, I need to kill this Object 704, or else he's going to be able to basically ruin the day of me and these 2 T-34s. And simply put, all hopes of victory in this match, even though it's 9 against 5, rest entirely on the shoulders of me and the T-34s. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get all of these clowns to move to like here, or better yet, here, to where they can, actually do something. They're not in draw distance of any enemies, and any enemies that they are in draw distance of are in hard cover. So they need to move. They need to move. Like, you don't camp when you're winning. When you're winning 9 against 5, you attack, unless you want to lose. So, ranting time almost over. So I'm pushing the flank here, trying to get around the enemy. And this is about the 3rd or the 4th time in this battle that I ping the map on the top of those guys. And for some reason my chat didn't show my own message. But, I just pinged the map and said, hey, 4 top tier guys camping in a useless place, get in the game, please. And the T-30 on our team, just says, fuck you, stop spamming. Well, Mr. T-30, that T-30 driver, he's lucky he caught me in a good mood where I really wanted to win the battle. This was a 3 times weekend, or actually it was a weekday for some reason. This was a 3 times event, and I'd had a humongous game, so I wanted to win more than I wanted that T30 to experience justice. When I'm power carrying and you basically tell me to suck a dick, I stop. I'm not obligated to make sure you get experience based on my hard work. So if you're a douchebag to me while I'm ensuring your victory, then I will stop ensuring your victory. But, like I said, I'm wanting my own epic game right now, so instead of being a dick to that guy who was a jerk to me, I've pushed around the flank with my T-34 buddies, and we've killed the enemy object 704, and we've managed to reset the cap. In the process, I took another hit from a T-57 Heavy. I'm now down to 200 health. Everything in battle, one hit kill me, and I'm trying to reset on a T-54E1 and a T-95. And, I mean, look at all those freaking Tier 9 tanks. They've got there's no way they can have any impact on the battle where they all are. They can't reset, they can't see the enemy, but they're just hell-bent, bound and determined to camp that spot. So, screw them. We put in another resetting hit, and then unfortunately for me, the enemy T-32, who is back in his base somewhere, kills us, and we're dead. But now, our T-34 buddy has, our T-34 buddy right there has taken out the enemy T-95. We've entirely secured the base, and there's just the Jaegeru and the T-32 left. My hat's off to the T-34 in chat who said, "Wow, well played, WZ, nice carry," because it was. Great work to the 2 T-34s on my team as well. They played really good games. Basically me, the E-100, and the 2 T-34s propped up an entire, we propped up the important part of the map against the enemy main force. And once we killed the enemy main force, we pushed around behind the enemy, reset the cap, and won the game. So guys, let's take a look at post-game stats, and then the rants of Captain Dorja can be completed. So that right here was an awesome game. 63,000 credits, 4,000 experience for our triple. Mastery badge Ace Tanker. Love the Ace Tanker badges. And also Confederate. We were just shooting everything that moved. And Confederate with 3 kills is pretty cool. It's even cooler when you get Confederate and Top Gun. That means you just ruined the whole world, basically. It's the greatest thing ever. But we managed to put out 4,803 damage. Incredibly, we actually did 0 assistance damage, which that really surprised me because in that main fight there, I spent a lot of time where I was shooting specifically for D-tracks because I was trying to trap enemies in front of the guns of the guys behind me. So I was expecting to have maybe 1,000, maybe 1,500 damage from assistance because of those D-track hits. But it turns out that none of those D-trackings actually directly cause the enemy to take damage. But even still, I think it's definitely a worthwhile thing to do. Because when you D-track the enemy like that... Sorry about that, I just banged my desk. When you D-track the enemy like that in front of a whole bunch of guns, first of all, it forces them to use their repair kit. So if they take any other more vital critical damage later, they don't have a repair kit anymore. Secondly, a lot of the times, especially in people that are not quite as good, they'll panic, and if they panic, they're more likely to make a mistake. So those D-tracks may not have gotten me any assistance damage. They may not have resulted in any direct, consequences to the enemy, health-wise. But I would still say that those purposeful D-track shots were a valuable contribution to the battle. So we can see here we killed this T-30. We hit him 4 times, managed to do 46 damage, which isn't too bad. Includes one D-tracking shot. We fired a shot into him that did nothing but D-track, and our kill shot wasn't a full, full damage roll kill. So 846 for basically 3 damaging hits. That's not too bad. We managed to put one into this IS-3. We got his tracks and fuel tank. We put one into the 215B, the Death Star there, 305 damage to him. Put one into this T-30, 330 damage to him and a D-track. We put 3 into the Tiger 2, taking out almost 900 of his health and also getting both of his tracks and fuel tank. Put 3 into this T-30. One shot was just a D-track. 2 of them were damaging hits, including the kill. We took out his track and commander. Put 1 into the 112 for another 300 damage. Put 1 into the Conqueror for about 300 more, as well as a yellow track. 2 shots into the T-54 U1 for 600 damage, as well as breaking his engine. And we took out the track and fuel tank on the Object 704 and dealt an additional 300 damage to him. So if we sort the teams here, coming out top on damage for my team, second on damage behind the enemy 183, 4,803 damage. That's, I would say for a mostly stock tier 9 in a tier 10 fight, it wasn't the worst matchmaking ever. There were only 4 tier 10s, but we were fighting a lot of dangerous enemies there, and we were fighting outnumbered, and I think we did pretty freaking good to get 5,000 damage and 3 kills. Our Batshat managed to get 3,500 damage. I'm honestly not sure how. I don't know what he was doing over there. Seemed like most of the time he was just sitting at the bottom of that hill, but he did get attacked at the end of the battle. And with that Batshat clip, he was probably able to farm up quite a lot just then. Our E100 buddy, he managed to take down 3,300 damage, not bad there. And our T-34s, with together putting out about 7,000 damage, or 5,000 damage, 6,000 damage, as well as 4 kills. Good work to those guys. Salute. Enemy 183, no surprise that guy had top damage. This T-30, he farmed up a lot against the T-34s and the E-100, so he had a lot as well. So yeah, that was a freaking awesome battle. We had a 24,000 credit profit. I think we fired 1 premium shell at the end. I'm not sure. We didn't need to fire any premium shells. We were mostly going against pretty lightly armored tanks, so that was definitely fortunate. If I'd been doing that against E100s and STIs or something, that would not have been. That wouldn't have worked. My gun just wouldn't have been able to handle it. But against these targets that you can penetrate, especially penetrate easily, like a T-30 or a 215B 183, having this stock gun can actually be better. And I think this was a pretty good example of how it can be better. So yeah, just a freaking great game. I had a really fun time playing that battle, except for that dick T-30 at the end. That guy could throw himself off a cliff. If I didn't think I was going to get a mastery badge and an awesome triple out of that, what can I say? I'm petty. I will throw the game if you're a dick to me when I'm the only reason why we're winning. So just kind of keep that in mind if you're ever in battle with me. Don't be a jerk to me if I'm carrying you, and I'll try not to be a jerk to you if you're carrying me. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this battle in the WZ-111. I really enjoyed playing it. That was one of the most fun battles in World of Tanks I've played in a long time. As soon as I finish putting this video together, I'm going to play some Elite Dangerous. Beta 3 is out with some cool stuff going on in there. And I've got a bunch of pre-recorded War Thunder content from last week that I want to start putting together and uploading. So stay tuned for more content. World of Tanks, War Thunder, Elite Dangerous, soon in the pipeline. And as soon as I hear anything cool about Star Citizen, I'll check that out. Yeah, so guys, I hope you enjoyed that, and until next time, it's Captain Dorja, and just remember, you can never have enough big guns.